Okay, today I want to talk about the Athearn Genesis Chessie C27 caboose. It's not going to be a review. It's already been done on YouTube, but I do want to point out a couple things about the caboose. Show what I'm going to do to modify mine, and hopefully it'll be an interesting, useful video. Okay, so like I said, it's not going to be a review. It's already been done. Dan's Railroad on YouTube did a real nice unboxing video, kind of showed the details and talked about the caboose a little bit. So I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but I do want to say one thing about the caboose. Athearn says they use the term better than brass, and I'm really happy to have a caboose like this in HO scale. And I actually tend to agree with him a little bit on that statement. And the reason being is, well, the detail I think is just as good as the brass versions of this caboose I've seen, and maybe even better in some cases. For example, I'm going to use a drill bit as a pointer. These rock screens on the brass ones seem to be a little bit heavy and clunky. I know brass has this detail as well, but the see-through steps are really nice. The end detail is really nice, and it's cheaper than brass. I know these cabooses are not cheap, but you get some things that you don't get with brass. For instance, roller bearings. You know, Athearn Genesis's roller bearings, those are kind of neat. You get lights, the end marker lights, and interior lights, and you get sound if you choose that option, which you don't get with brass. And it's still quite a bit cheaper than brass. People say it's too expensive, and yeah, I kind of agree, but I've still got one. Think about the cars these days: Tangent, Athearn Genesis, Exact Rail, you know, 40, 50 bucks. Some of the bigger cars, 60, 70 bucks, you know. So you've got a caboose that is as detailed, as nice as some of these other cars, but it comes with lights and sound and a decoder. I don't think the price is that far off. So better than brass? Yeah, I agree. Okay, and a couple more things real quick. This has already been addressed, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but yeah, the end lights were a bit of a disappointment. They're too dim. I'm not even going to attempt to show them on this video because you can't even see them, and that was a disappointment. I ended up getting two of these because the first one I had didn't even come with a marker light, and I didn't realize it until after I bought it. So I got another one with the light and realized you could barely see it. There's some guys on YouTube that have done some videos on how to fix that, so I'm not going to go into that. You can watch those. But I am going to show you what I plan to do with mine. I've got two of them now, and it includes changing them to Chesapeake and Ohio cabooses. So I'll show that in here in just a minute. Okay, real quick, number 3930 was the only one that came with the end marker light. The first one I got was 3945, didn't have it. So I ended up getting this one so I could have the end marker light, but of course it comes with the reverse colors on the safety cross there, which I didn't really like either. So I'm going to go into how I fix that here next. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to show you what I did to my two cabooses. Following the instructions of, well, George from Soundtracks, he was pretty helpful, and Christopher Brown, YouTube channel, he showed how to fix the light, the end marker light, and you can check out his video if you want to know how to do that. It worked. Lights are visible now, they work well, and they're independent. They're on function 3 and function 4 instead of the headlight function, which I like a lot better. So they're not directional. In other words, I can just turn them on or off and they stay on regardless of which direction the train's going. I have my 30-35 combo, bring the cabooses into view here. First one is the X 3930. Now Chesapeake and Ohio 904-108. I'm gonna go ahead and mute these locomotives. So 904-108, I want to put a shout out to Steel Valley Models. I got a decal set from him. He did a really nice set for me, Chesapeake and Ohio, the 904, well, the 90 numbers and the 4100 series of caboose. Now the 4100s are actually C27As. They're not an exact match to these C27s. Probably one of the most noticeable things is the lack of rock guards on these windows. And these would have been yellow, the steps would have been yellow, and the generator's different, but whatever, they're close enough for me. I really like having a familiar road number, one that I have pictures of and things like that. So 904-108, and of course I changed the that to the white safety cross. And I weathered this one up a little bit as well. It's not showing up real good on the video, but painted the couplers, painted the wheels, did the roof a little bit. And I'll show you the light here in a moment. But first, I'll show you the other caboose. This one was 3945. And I'm just gonna keep them silent while I bring this up. I changed this one to Chesapeake and Ohio 904-121. And as you can see, this one doesn't have the end marker light. I'm gonna try to add that. Still working on how exactly to do that. Maybe make a video on that down the road. Again, decals from Steel Valley Models, and he actually included for me this really neat little stencil. I'll try to get in close on it there. It says, International Assigned Caboose must be returned to Detroit, Michigan. There was a handful of these cabooses that had that stencil and the blue patch. They were doing service between Detroit and Buffalo, New York through Canada. And evidently they had special radio equipment to be able to be in service on that route. And so they had this stencil. And this particular caboose was in Plymouth, Michigan, well into the 2000s. That's the area that I'm attempting to model. And so I've got a lot of pictures of this one. It's kind of neat to have that represented on the layout. Also of note here, one of the things that people have commented about these cabooses are these marker lights weren't added at the factory. I didn't like that. I didn't want to have to drill holes into this nice caboose. But you know, it wasn't that hard in the end. I ended up doing it on both of them. And they look pretty good. They went in pretty easily. I don't know if you can notice, I painted the inside of the caboose green to kind of, you know, how the interiors look, to kind of give it that effect. And let me go ahead and show you the light here real quick. Okay, real quick, 904-108 with the end marker light on. This is after the modification. I basically, well, watch Christopher Brown's video. It's easier than me trying to explain it. But I put it on function 3 and 4, the back on 4, the front on 3. I can turn them on together. I can turn them on independently. They stay on regardless of train direction, which I think is a lot more prototypical. And it's pretty visible now. It looks pretty realistic. I'm pretty happy with it. Real quick, I'm going to show you another feature of the sound. That little air whistle. I think that's kind of neat. Used to see these cabooses using that air whistle when they were doing pushing moves over grade crossings and stuff. Conductors stood out and did that, so that's kind of cool. And of course, wind up the speed here without actually, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's got that clickety-clack and the flange squeal, which I really like. That kind of adds to the sound and look of the train. And of course you can consist the caboose with your locomotive so the sounds happen automatically as you accelerate and decelerate. I have done that I haven't played with it too much. They're not consistent right now. It takes a little bit of fiddling to do it, but it works really well when you do get it going. And one more thing I wanted to point out about the decals. I know I'm kind of jumping all around here with this, but these Chesapeake and Ohio cabooses had this vertical number applied at the Grand Rapids shops, I guess. It was kind of a unique thing to the C&O bay windows. And Steel Valley Models, they included that in my decal set. Looks really good. It was, most of them wore off pretty quickly, but I've got some pictures with a few of those numbers in it, so it's kind of a neat little detail there. Okay, one more quick run by and we'll end the video. My locomotives are kind of loud. They drowned out the caboose at the moment, but here we go. Oops, wrong direction. Stand by. All right, thanks for watching.